Hello everyone, it's me Kitanatu, and in today's video we're going to be doing our Seed teammate tier list where we rank all of Seed's possible teammates on a tier list. And yes, I know I am very late, her banner is leaving in like 4 days. I'm not going to explain myself, and instead I'm going to not waste any time and get straight into the tier list. Alright, let's start off by putting Seed in her own tier just for the sake of organization, and let me just explain what each tier is very briefly and what it represents for Seed. Best in slot simply means that this agent is going to be best in slot for Seed. If you're running Seed and you want her to perform at her maximum, you are going to be using at least one of the agents in this tier. S tier is the agents who can, reasonably speaking, replace the agents in best in slot tier, but the best in slot tier is still going to be better, but S tier are really good options. A tier are pretty good, pretty decent, not the best, but pretty okay. B tier is pretty mid, pretty cope, all things considered. C tier, not necessarily bad, it works technically speaking, but not really recommended. D tier, just bad, just straight up bad, not completely useless, but just bad. And then F tier is just completely useless and you shouldn't pair them with Seed at all. And of course, we have the not out yet tier, which let's just place Lucia, Monito, and Itari, although I don't think they'd rank high regardless, but let's just keep them in their own tier for the sake of separation. Separation. Oh wow, okay. Separation. My bad. Anywho, let's get into the ranking. Let me stop wasting time. First, let's start off with her best in slot agents. If you've been keeping up with the news and everything, you'd know that the best in slot agent for Seed is going to be Orphe. Pairing Orphe with Seed is going to be the best pairing for both of these characters, actually. Although with the upcoming Sambi buffs that are coming, in case you didn't know they are coming, with the upcoming Sambi buffs, maybe Orphe's best partner may become Sambi instead of Seed, but that's to be seen. But regardless, Orphe is Seed's best in slot DPS partner, and if you're a bit confused on exactly what Seed wants out of a teammate, I'll just briefly explain it before we move forward. Basically, Seed wants another attack agent on the team, as well as another support who can provide buffs that they make use of. Which, if you're wondering what those buffs are and what buffs won't work with Seed, we'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, let's just stick to talking about the DPS part. But for now, let's just stick to talking about the best in slot options. So as we see, we have Orpheus, best in slot. The next, we have actually two agents who can fill up that supportive slot. Those two agents being Trigger and Astra. I think Astra is generally better just because like she boosts damage by so much, which is a bit disappointing because, you know, the Obel squad team isn't the best in slot team, which is really sad. But the difference isn't by that much. I think it's like around 5% to 10% maybe, or was it like higher, like 20%? Like it's a noticeable amount, but not by enough to where it really matter. And also, like, you probably want Astra for another team, especially if you already have like Seed and Orphe. You don't need Astra to be on this team for this team to perform, so you can just use these three and put Astra on a different team. But basically, the best in slot team for Seed is going to be Seed, Orpheus, and either Trigger or Astra, whatever you want. It matters, but not by that much. Now for S tier, we have, I think, let's start by ranking the S tiers, then A tier, then B tiers, then C tiers, then D tiers, and F tiers. I don't want to go across the line because then we'll just be jumping all over the place. But I think, in fact, just for the sake of organization and for the sake of reducing the amount of characters here, let's just get F tier out of the way. All the characters in F tier are just going to be all the anomaly agents, all the rupture agents, and all the agents that provide buffs that Seed and most likely their attack partner aren't going to make use of at all. So we can just move Piper in F tier. We can just move... Also, Ben is also in F tier. He barely provides any buffs at all. He functions more as a DPS, and he's a defense class, so he doesn't really function with Seed at all. Who else? We have Jane. We got Bernice. We also got Seth. You know, Seed doesn't use AP. We have Yanagi. We have Miyabi. Who else? We have Vivian. Who else? Not Yuza. I think that should be everyone. Yes, that is everyone. That is all. Basically, any character I put in F tier here, they don't work with Seed at all. Putting them on a team with Seed is actively detrimental, and just like you're completely wasting both of those characters. And we can also add Grace there. Let me see, just like scanning through to make sure that there's not anything that I missed. Anywho, let's just continue with the ranking, I suppose. Let's start with S tier. We got Sambi. We got Evelyn. I'd say we got Juyuan. Who else? And I'd also say Haramasa, right? These are like the best DPS options to slot in, because I know Sambi and Evelyn, they can deal very good consistent on-field damage, and Juyuan and Haramasa can function really well as like burst attackers that can like swap in during Seed's downtime to deal like good amount of damage. I don't think there's even much more to be said about these guys, but you know, for S rank support options, we got Nicole. And honestly, you can even argue for Nicole to enter best in slot, because the difference between her and Astra, like there is a difference. There's a large difference. but at the same time, Nicole is still like the best budget option for a support option that you can slot in there. Some other S tier supportive options include Jufufu and Polkra, both of them for the same reasons. They're both off-field stunners, which Seed really appreciates because she takes up a lot of field time. She wants to stay on field as long as she possibly can, and any on-field support is just going to be kind of wasted. Is the field time you spend on field with that other agent is just wasted in comparison to the on-field damage that Seed could be doing. So you'd much rather have an off-field support agent rather than an on-field support agent. Now I think we can just move on to the A tier, where we have the DPSs Soldier 11 and Ellen. And I put these two here just simply because like they function, well, no, they don't actually function, but in this team they function similarly to Evelyn and Zambi, in the sense that they can use their EX specials off field, they can also on field, but it's just that they deal less damage than these two. At least, well, I guess you can. Well, Zambi's also getting buffed, but like right now, I guess you can compare these two in damage, but overall, I'd say that these two just deal less damage than these four, whether they're being on field or being burst DPSs. So I just feel like it was not really that useful overall to run them with Seed. If you have them, you can, and like that's why they're in A tier. They're good. They're decent options. They're not bad at all. They're just really great, but not as great as these guys, right? The supportive options, we have a lot. We have Lucy, we have Rena, we have Caesar. Who else? Oh yeah, I also forgot to put Penguin in F tier. We have... Huh. I could have sworn there'd be more characters to put in A tier. In fact, I'm just gonna be mean and move Falker down to A tier because, well, they're a worse option with Seed than Jufufu. No. It really depends. I'd say I'm just gonna say that Falker is worse. It's worse than Jufufu. I'm just gonna say that because, well, Jufufu is S rank, Falker is A rank. That must mean that Falker is worse, obviously. Let's see. For B tier, I'm gonna just put Xingyi in B tier, mostly because I have absolutely no idea how good this character is, because Xingyi just has a habit of being really good sometimes, and like okay other times, right? So we never really know how good Xingyi is, or I never know how good Xingyi is, so I just have to like leave her where she is and hope that I am right. Then I can put Lighter in C tier. Lighter is just kind of with Seed. Lighter does not give Seed anything, to be frank. He does not give Seed anything at all. But, well, except for the stun window duration extension, which is useful, but you'd rather just have like other damage amps instead of that. But if you're running like with Orphe, or you're running with Evelyn, or you're running with Soldier 11, then having Lighter on your team to buff their damage up by a lot is pretty useful. I'd still recommend someone else other than Lighter with Seeds. You know, someone that, you know, can provide like buffs that both Seed and her partner can take advantage of, rather than just the partner. But like Lighter, he's possible, he's viable sometimes, I guess. Who else do we have? We can just put all our A rank attack agents in B tier, and our, you know, Nekomata in B tier as well. They don't really do much, right? They don't really do a lot of damage at all. You just swap in, use their EX special, swap back out. But they work, they're functional. They don't have anti-synergy, I'd say. They work to some extent. Now for D tier is gonna be pretty stacked. Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot Yuzo. There we go. Yuzo goes in A tier. She provides 1,200 attack. Just, that's a really good buff. In fact, you can put her in S tier, honestly. 1,200 attack is just like a lot. It's just really good. Double what Lucy gives. So at the very least, she's better than Lucy. But you know. Let's see. I was also F tier. Hugo Vlad. Hugo is really weird because he has anti-synergy with Seed. The whole having two attackers in one team thing. Hugo wants two stunners in a team. Number one. That's just the first of all. Number two, Hugo wants to reach the stun window as fast as possible without caring about how much damage he does outside of the stun window. And then when the stun window comes, he just uses the stun window instantly to deal a large amount of damage. Seed wants to deal a lot of damage outside the stun window and then use the full stun window to deal increased damage. So having these two characters that basically do the exact opposite thing in terms of how they utilize the stun window and how they build their teams, with two attack agents, two stun agents, it doesn't really mesh too well. But he works. I wouldn't go as far as to put him in D tier because he does work, but I'd argue to say he's actually worse than the 4-star DPSs because at least they don't have like anti-synergy, right? Hugo just has plain anti-synergy. Though you could make an argument to put him in B tier, I don't feel like doing. I feel like he belongs in C tier. And that is our tier list. Wow, that did not take as long as I thought it would. But like, yeah, no, this video was rushed as hell. I'm not even... Oh, this video was so bad. This video was so rushed. Oh my god. Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. The next video will be better, guys. Trust. The next video will be better. I swear. Trust me. So yeah, that was the ranking. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one, which hopefully won't be a full month from now because my upload schedule is bad. Oh, that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.